Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast, episode number 7. I am one of your hosts, Bill Algie, and I'm here with my friends...
Alan Tate,
Bill Algie,
and Dennis Talbot.
We're just shaking it up a little bit this week. We've been laughing for a while. So anyway,
well, we're kind of shaking it up because we've been looking at an article from the Rolling Stone. It was back in October sometime. It was Rolling Stone's top 50 hair metal albums of all times, and the three of us are pretty much, for the most part, WTF. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about a little bit of music news. Bill, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it was announced today that Neil Peart is retiring. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but that's pretty big. You know, whether you're a Rush fan or not a Rush fan, Neil Peart is probably the best drummer in the world. Just incredible. I'm not a big Rush fan, but you just have to respect that guy. I mean, he goes out and they play very,
intricate,
minute, just detailed stuff. And he pounds it for 3 hours every time they're on tour for 3 hours a show. And there aren't very many guys that can do that. So I have a great deal of respect for him. I never got to see him, and that's okay. I don't know that I could sit through 3 hours of Rush. I'd probably want to shoot somebody, but I do respect the fact that he's a phenomenal drummer, and you just gotta give him some props for that, because that's awesome. But he's retiring, so I think that'll probably be the end of Rush. I don't think that's a guy that you just bring somebody else in and put him in the seat and takes off. That cannot happen. So anybody that even tries to do that would just be stupid. So that's music news for me. I mean, I saw that today. I was shocked. I really didn't expect that, but I guess there'd been some things where it was kind of coming. I guess Lee Getty made a couple comments, and then Alex had made some comments too that they thought things were going to be kind of winding down, but I think it's winding to a close. So down's one thing, closing's another. So, but
I just wonder.
I wish those guys all the best, and especially Neil, because great drummer. So that's the music news for me.
I wonder if Mike Portnoy, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, if he tried to call Getty.
Yeah, him and a couple other guys are just Jason Bonham's another guy. He'll just go play because he can, or Carmen Apiece or one of those. No, just don't ever do. And I think it would be a very big disservice to Rush for them to let anybody else sit in that spot. I really do. I just think that you just got to go, okay, I got it. We're done. And I'll go do some solo stuff, and I'll get a different band together. But to try to do that without him, I think that's a bad idea. And I don't think anybody go. I really don't. I mean, we have listened to rock for a very long time between the three of us, and nobody plays like that. They just don't play like that, period. So you just can't go there. So that's my opinion about that.
Well, I honestly don't think that it's all Neil bowing out. I think it's kind of a. They said this R40 was going to be the last gig anyway. They talked about it's going to be the last major tour. Neil's got issues with carpal tunnel. Alex has really bad arthritis in his hand. So he and then Getty's vocals. I seen them with the Signals tour back in '83. Seen him with the Time Machine tour in Nashville a couple years ago. Getty's voice is going to. I think it's one of these things where basically Neil's going to take a bullet and say, "Okay, I'm out," because they all know it's at the end. And there again, instead of like some of the bands we know who just continue on and just make themselves look bad, go out on top and be done with it. That's the best thing to do. And like I said, I don't really, because like I said, this came from a interview from a drum magazine. I don't really, I believe it, but I don't think that's the actual story. I think there's more to that than just him saying I'm going to retire. But it's a way for them to say, okay, we're done. And they even said this is our last big tour. Mm-hmm. You know, they may go out and do a couple. They're not going to be stupid enough to shoot themselves in the foot and say, we're never going to play again. You know, we're going to sign these things. And we're never. There's going to be opening to do a show here and there, but they're not going to tour again. This tour was the end.
Right.
And, you know, and that's what they want to do. 40 years, you know, God love you. You made 40 years. So that's, you know, that's what it is. So.
All right, Dennis, do you want to talk about the other big news this week?
Scott passed away this week. We were lucky enough. My wife is a real big STP fan. We were able to see them. They opened, or it was Cheap Trick and them at Robert Stadium back in the days when they were on their, you know, they were on their prime. You know, Scott had it. You know, he got up there first thing. You know, with the megaphone. You know, and it was good. I mean, that night was a magical night. And it's really sad that this, you know, that Scott was like that. The fact of that, you know, he could have those magical nights, and then were those nights, and we've all seen the video of him just recently playing. You know, he claims he couldn't hear himself, and you know, I don't care what you say.
That was influenced by something.
You checked out at that point. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it's just sad that somebody who had that much talent. You know, he dealt with bipolarism. He had, you know, drug addiction. And, you know, the thing is people are like, well, you know, I try to do. The thing is, you're not going to fix somebody like that. They have to fix themselves. And he just he didn't want to fix himself. You know?
And they have to want to be fixed.
And then I say he had a chance. You know, he went from Stone Temple, got kicked out of there. Then they got Velvet Revolver together, which would have been a mega band. Mm-hmm. You know, and he got kicked out of there. You know, he just can't. You know, the thing is the drug addiction kept coming back, and you can't fix somebody like that. But like I said, he went to, you know, he didn't do it at 27. He got to 40, the 48.
48, yeah.
But no, it's just
his
sad.
His demons were long term. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. But you know, good artists just couldn't fight the demons.
But I say that's as far as my music news. I do have a real quick. I'm gonna get through this real quick. I went to Nashville this week. My wife and I, we had our 26th wedding anniversary. Went down and stayed a couple of nights at Nashville. Went and seen the. This is not rock, but we went and seen the Amy Grant, Vince Gill show at the Ryman. I basically wanted to go to the Ryman just for the sound of it. Tell you what, though, it is a fabulous place to hear music. I mean, there was a kid playing a violin at the very beginning, just doing some like Christmas music, and it just filled the whole room. I mean, it's an awesome place to see a show. No matter what you see down there, go to the Ryman. Real quick, on our way to the show, we left our restaurant. There was a satellite truck outside of our restaurant at this venue. It was the Philharmonic where they play in Nashville, and they were having the CMT Artist of the Year awards. So we're walking up towards there. They had it blocked off, and they had the cops around. They had the red carpet. We walk around there, and my wife's like going, "That looks like Kenny Rogers." And I go, holy shit, that is Kenny Rogers. So, you know, my first thought is, okay, I want you to videotape me as I sing, "You gotta know when to hold them." I was going to do that. It didn't happen. I wanted to so bad. It was like, that was a running joke the whole week, you know, because I was going, I wanted to do that so bad. You know, I think he would have got a kick out of it, but who knows?
Especially with that Geico commercial he was recently in.
That's what I'm saying. You know, he's already done sold out, so we're gonna play with that one. Anyway, went to the show. It was fairly decent. I tell you what, here's a few things that we noticed at the show. Amy Grant sounds like shit. Her voice is terrible. Kelly even said Amy Grant's voice has not held up over time. I don't know if it was first night jitters or whatever it was. she cracked and popped and was just all over the place. The whole singing traditional Christmas songs. It was not good.
Maybe she couldn't hear.
Yeah, maybe.
She should have got mad, threw her stuff down, and left.
Yeah, Vince sounded really good. Of course, he's got a great voice. I noticed some things through the show, and my wife mentioned after the fact we left that place. She goes, "Do you think Amy and Vince are that happy?" And I said, "You know what? I noticed that the whole part of the show, they didn't seem very chummy the whole show, and even points where they had to hold hands. Amy had to walk over and grab his hand to hold it. I mean, there was some weird stuff going on. I don't really know if it was just a bad night or if there's trouble in the camp." But it was interesting. And the thing was, not only did I notice it, my wife noticed it. Like I said, we went there.
You're so sensitive, Dennis.
I was sensitive. Well, and the show was a downer. I mean, it was like all this happy Christmas shit at the very beginning, and then they came out after the break, and they were like going,
Wait.
San Diego.
All this happy Christmas shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went downhill.
But the point was they come out after they had like a little intermission, and they come back and they were like talking about the San Diego shootings, and then they did this song, and it was kind of a downer, and then Vince goes, "Well, Amy says I don't have to sing Christmas all night," so he sings like, "Well, I've had a lot of death in my family and my extended family this year, and this is a song I wrote for this girl who sang for me for 30 years. It's called My Little Sister." And, he's cracking the whole time he's singing it. Then right after that, he sings the song that he sang at George Jones's funeral, where he, am I going, how much down are we going to go at this point? I mean, by the end of the show, I was like, I don't really feel very happy. I'm kind of down. This is supposed to be
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So we left there and we went down to the Strip at that point. And actually, this was the next night because Kelly had a headache, so we went back to the hotel. We went down and ate and went to the things.
Wait.
What?
You had that before you got to the hotel, or
I think Amy Grant gave her a headache, and Vince Gill.
Oh, okay. I just
So anyway,
trying to make sure you had headache too long.
We went out the next night. This is all country shit. But anyway, we went out to this first bar. We went down the road, went to this place called the Tin Roof. Wasn't too bad of a band, but the third song in, they play Keep Your Hands to Yourself, and they meld it with Achy Breaky Heart. So at that part, we were out.
It's like musical vomit.
We also saw a drunk 50s dude dancing and needed to be video and recorded because he needed to be shamed at work the next day. This dude was really bad. I made that as a note. And then I tell you what, the lack of talent on Thursday night on Nashville was really bad. I mean, we've been down there before and made
It was no talent Thursday. Didn't you know that?
It was, but we went early. We went, like I said, we hit at about 7:00. We were done by about 10. There were some bands there that if you're paying to play down there, they're wasting their money. I mean, it was bad. We did come back around to the stage where this band who was setting up at the time was finishing their night, and they got their shit together, and it really did sound good. We actually, but then the hockey game got out, and the place got so packed you couldn't walk around, and we're like, okay, we've been doing this for 4 hours. Let's go home or go back to the hotel. So, but anyway, that was Nashville. So it was a different type of music, but it was live music, which I always, say go out, promote, and go out and support. But
I heard
it was a lame night in Nashville because usually you go to every bar and it's just like, okay, this is great, and the next one's great, and it just wasn't. I mean, it was a really bad night for music for me. So
I got to see some live music this week too. I was in Boston.
What'd you see? Boston.
We were in an Irish pub.
Right.
So we saw two gingers just tearing it up, man. It was great. I mean, a guy on a fiddle and another guy on an acoustic guitar, and they were just. It was really good. It was really good. It definitely wasn't rock, but it was really good. It was good stuff.
It was ginger rock.
Ginger rock.
And talk about
We'll probably,
look at this
probably
red
get
guy.
banned. We'll get banned in Ireland.
Usually,
But it
where
was
am I-
good stuff.
Am I center or when we look at the?
You are now.
Okay, so when we start playing, this is the ginger guy. Look how red he is this week. He's all red.
Actually, you're pointing to the Skype thing.
But when we do this, I did this last
okay.
week. I pointed. I know where I'm going to be. I'm usually on the very right. So if I poke this way, it's going to be poking at you, but to him. So anyway. All right.
I hope that makes sense in your head.
He wants to poke you is all I heard. He wants to poke you. That's all I heard.
He's been on Facebook.
I'll give you the mouse here. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, we've been sitting here watching. You've done
All
that
right,
several times.
let's get to the topic, man. Let's roll.
All right. Well, do we want to talk real quickly about new music? I have got two songs.
Yeah, go.
No, I want to hear.
Well, one song is not a new song, but it's new to me. I was listening to the Decibel Geek podcast, and last week, since it was Thanksgiving or the week before, whenever Thanksgiving was, they take the week off and they give the show to some of their Canadian friends. And there's a Canadian band called Refugee, and they have a song called Survival in the Western World. I had not heard that song until that particular episode. It was a really good song, and I'll put the link to that in the Ages of Rock Facebook page later on.
Right. What was the name of that song you said?
Looking for a pin.
The name of the band is Refugee.
Refugee. Okay.
And the song title is Survival in the Western World.
There you go.
And then the other song I heard this week is the band DAD out of Denmark. It's a song called The Wrong Side of Love. And they put that song on an album. It's a multiple artist album. I guess it was like a compilation for relief effort for Syrian refugees.
Sure.
That was a fundraiser. But that video is on YouTube. I will also share that with the viewers, listeners, and with you guys.
Now the DAD that's the disc you played for me on the way to Bloomington,
we listened to the No
Yeah,
Fuel.
that was a good. Those
No
guys are
Fuel
really
Left for
good.
the Pilgrims from 1989.
Really
which
good.
we will
Yeah,
be
I listened to a
discussing.
little bit of that today. I thought that was pretty good.
Which we will be discussing a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Well, I did pick up one song this week. I did Shazam one song. It's called from
Shazam.
the name of the band is Scar the Martyr or Marty. It's called
Get your bifocals right, bro.
Soul Disintegration is the name of the song, and it was really good. It's a alternative rock song, and I'll post it.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, somebody just got a text.
I got a text. Oh yeah, I got one. Okay, that's from Alan.
Yeah, you have the
All
links
right,
now, fellas.
Let's get to this topic.
All right, so the topic is according to the Rolling Stone magazine, the 50 greatest hair metal albums of all time, or as Bill, Alan, and Dennis put it, WTF.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And we're going to split this episode into two separate episodes since there are 50 albums and we've already jabbered for almost 20 minutes.
Okay.
So number 50 on the list is a band called Lord Tracy. The album is called Deaf Gods of Babylon, and it came out in 1989. Now, that album is one that totally missed my radar, but a lot of albums in 89 and 90, I did totally miss out on them because I was stationed in Germany, and I spent more time drinking in discotheques and stuff than I did looking for music because I was 19 and you know what 19-year-olds like to look for. But anyway, I listened to the first song. I listened to the first song on that album, and I actually really enjoyed it. So here shortly in the next day or so, I will be giving that album a full spin. What's your thoughts on that one, Bill?
Garbage. I listened to like 3 songs on it, and
You didn't listen to right through.
I listened to okay. So I went to iTunes, and on iTunes it ranks them by the most download. It's in alphabetical. I mean, it's in order by
Right.
the cuts on the album.
What was their number one?
It,
What's their number one song?
I don't know now because it was like 3 hours ago. But I listened to the top 3, and they were just garbage. No. Okay, go.
All right.
I spent a bunch of time on it. It's garbage. I didn't like.
Ronnie, we wore this disc out. I love this disc. They actually had a MTV. They had a video on Going Out with the Boys. It's not their. Some of these songs are kind of tongue in cheek. They're kind of like a very early. Damn it! Here we go.
Are you gonna give Steel Panther free press again?
Well, they're not as dirty, but they're kind of almost like Spinal Tap. A little bit tongue in cheek on some of their songs. There's a song called East Coast Rose. Actually, if I could get a band together that I'd want to play that, I want to play this song out live. It's a great song.
Will it sound better?
King of the No, but they have. They're a great band. I'm not gonna. I knew when we talked about this right before we started this tape in the night, and we already like the first damn record. Me and Bill's like going, I love it. I hate it. I'm like, all this shit. There we go.
for everybody out, this is a perfect example of the fact that we don't all agree. We don't all like the same stuff all the time. So that's just the way it is. And the good part is we can just sit here and argue it. And I can just sit here and say, it doesn't matter. You can keep talking. I don't like it.
But they were actually, they kind of, they were kind of tongue in cheek on some of their music. But they had a real hot guitar player. I liked them. Like I said, Ron and I, we love, I've had the disc. I've actually bought it once, lost it, or loaned it out, and made another copy of it. I listened to this record actually quite a bit. So there you go.
All right, number 49, Mr. Big. Yes, Mr. Bean put out an album.
I do like Mr. Bean, though.
See, now, Mr. Bean I never could get into, but that's another podcast.
It's so funny.
Number 49, Mr. Big, Lean Into It from 1991.
I like that. Good album.
I like that album. That's a very, very good band. One thing to note from that album is just kind of a personal thing. The band that I played in when I was stationed in Germany wrote a song while I was on vacation that sounded an awful lot like the song To Be With You. And for the longest time, until the wonderful internet, I always wondered if one of those guys did not sell that song to Mr. Big.
Really?
Yeah.
So that song was on that album then? That was...
Yeah, that was the last song on that album, I believe.
Yeah, there was. I say the players on that album were. You had Billy Sheenan, you had Paul Gilbert. It was a loaded band. It was a good. I don't know I didn't have this album. I really didn't listen to it except for the songs that were on the radio. So, but it's good.
Yeah, I liked it. But it was. That's probably one of the biggest power ballads of the '80s.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Just huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it. Okay.
All right.
Number 48, Precious Metal, Right Here, Right Now, released in 1985.
No idea.
This was another band that I had never heard of, but I pulled up their first song on the Right Here, Right Now album. The song is called This Girl. I didn't think the song was very bad. They kind of reminded me of a little harder edged Go-Go's. And judging by the look on Bill's face, this is another one that he thinks is pure shit.
I haven't had time. I want to listen to it, though.
I literally wrote down, here, look, can you see that? It says horrible.
Horrible.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it says horrible.
Yeah, we saw it.
It just... her voice is bad. I don't know how she got... I don't know. Whatever.
Well, here's my thing. And we're going to get... this is just basically a roundabout thing about Rolling Stone. When you got 50 albums of the best ones, why would you throw this one in here? There were so many other ones that could have been put into that position. There you go.
The list of albums they missed is phenomenal.
Exactly. And that's another show in itself.
Crap.
Anyway.
I think it should be 25 albums that are good and 25 albums that are garbage that I just had to figure out how to throw on a list.
All right.
Number 47. You got something else to say?
No, that's pretty much how Rolling Stone is about half the stuff they put out in publications crap anyway. So I should have not expected anything more. I didn't lower my expectations.
There you go.
All right.
Number 47, Lita Ford's album Lita from 1988.
Oh, if I don't have to hear that Went to a Party last Saturday night song ever again. Yeah.
So which do you hate worse? That song or Close My Eyes Forever?
They're both bad. I'm just not a big Lita fan. I mean, I give her credit because, she was in, the Runaways, that was a groundbreaking band, but I just don't get it. I'm not a big Lita fan. Not to say that she's bad or good. I just don't get it. It's just me.
I thought it was okay. I liked it. Was it great? No. But I think of the females that are on this list, which there aren't very many of.
Right.
I thought, hey, she was ahead of the, what was that other group called? The Crappy Girls? Oh, Precious Metal. Sorry. So, hey, she made it ahead of those clowns. So that's got to be worth something.
Right.
All right. Number 46 is Kick Tracy's No Rules album from 1991.
I listened to that for the first time, just from their recommendations, and it didn't do much for me. I didn't remember it.
Yeah, I listened to the song "Don't Need Rules," and it didn't really grab me very much.
Right. Well, they said that their big song was the Big Western Sky. Nah, I didn't like it. Anyway,
I think we're going to have a little string of WTF.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. We'll
you know what? I think I'm going to stick with that, and we can speed this up. How's that?
Yeah. Well, for the next one, I'm going to totally agree with you. Number 45 is Pretty Boy Floyd's Leather Boys with Electric Toys. I tried to listen to the first song on that. I was like, oh my gosh. I actually did listen to the second song on that, and it's Rock and Roll Something.
You're just a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Well, if you're going to talk about these albums,
I know, and I
gotta sound like you know what you're talking about.
I tried to listen to that too, Alan. It was
I listened to part of that first song.
A little phlegm back of my throat.
Yeah. The second song on the album wasn't so bad, but that's where I stopped.
Yeah, it's.
I tried to listen. I have to admit, I tried to listen to part of 4 songs, and it just thinking that it's going to get better.
It does.
And I even did listen to the next to last song, knowing that'd be the worst song, hoping whoever produced this tricked us and put the best song there. And no, it's just all shit. The whole thing.
It's a shit sandwich. That's what it is.
Yeah. So in my show notes for this, the only thing that I put on there is how is this band even on the list?
Yeah.
Totally.
There again, there's another album that would have took this place and been perfect in this spot.
Absolutely.
So maybe at some point in the future we'll do Bill Allen and Dennis's top 50 hair metal albums.
You better believe it.
Well, I think when you get further down the list, I think there's a lot of stuff on there that we would all pick.
No, there's some great stuff.
I don't understand when you're getting to fit. Okay, good. Yeah, we've been down that road.
All right, 44.
44, Kiss, Lick It Up from 1983. Now, this album is one of my top 5 Kiss albums of all time. I love it. People say, I've said this before, and I've caught a lot of heat for it, but one of my comments about this album is this one and the one before it, Creatures of the Night. Do you think Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr helped save Kiss?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Creatures of the Night saved Kiss. If it would have been for Creatures, I would have probably been done.
Yeah.
And like I said, here's my problem with this album. It's a great album. I don't have a problem with this, but it doesn't need to be in this list. That's where this is one thing that gets me befuddled about, Rolling Stone. If you're going to go hair metal, Kiss wasn't hair metal during Lick It Up. Now, they may have been during Asylum or, some of the later ones.
Especially Asylum.
Yeah, when they got to be, Maud instead, you know what I'm saying? But Kiss at that point, that wasn't a hair metal band. They were still a metal band. And that's why I don't understand some of the picks. That's where I get a little bit of a problem. If you're gonna do the hair metal albums of top 50, I think you could put Kiss in there, but I don't think you could put this album in there. That's why I don't understand where they're getting at. I don't quite get it. But it's a good album. I mean, I don't have a problem.
I like that album a lot. So definitely one of my in my top 5. And when I saw it there too, I was pretty shocked. I was surprised it was even in the list.
Right.
And actually, I'm surprised they would even consider anything that they did in the 80s really on the list, because I would not call them the best of hair metal of any of them. But like I said, I would agree with you totally, Dennis. That to me is not really a hair metal album. It didn't have the same feel. It didn't have the same
not at all
as the Bon Jovis and the other stuff. It didn't. Now, when you got later, like you said, I agree. But yeah, that one doesn't. But the other thing that pisses me off about this though is actually is lower than Vinnie Vincent's Invasion. But,
wait.
Wait. Let me finish. But considering the fact that I don't think this is really a hair metal album, and I think the Vinnie Vincent thing was,
it is a hair metal.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
But
Vinnie Vincent was
I was like, come on, really? That's just, Actually, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised Rolling Stone even put Kiss in anything because they hate them.
So was I.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 43, Vixen's debut album, Vixen, from 1988.
I
liked it. Good stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of hot. But I don't know. I just
kind of hot. Girls in London, whatever. I don't care. Don't like
not a big Vixen fan. Sorry, I was more Pat Benatar's side.
The only Vixen album that I actually own is the Rev It Up album, and I took it to Joe's Records over on the east side when it was still here in town.
Right.
Because I never listened to it, so I was going to get rid of it. And he said, "Go over there and look in the bin." I bet there were 15 copies of that album that people had turned in because they didn't like it. Yeah. But, that was one that they had a couple of good songs, but I think MTV had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they had to have their quota of metal chicks.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll move on to number 42, DAD's No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims from 1989. Now, my introduction to this band was actually in Germany. I met those guys when they were on tour, on the No Fuel tour. And
cool.
They are funny guys. That album is one of my top 10 albums of all times.
Wow.
Because for 4 guys who are not native English speakers, they have a better command on the English language than some of the American musicians that you hear. And if you listen to the lyrics of some of their songs, they know what they're talking about, which is what makes it even better.
Now, was this the album that you played for me?
That's the album that we listened to on the way.
Oh, it's a good album. Like I said, he threw that. When we went up to Bloomington, we were going to throw some new music at each other, and he asked me if I'd ever heard of DAD, and I was like, no. So he brought that along. Good album. I mean, we didn't skip through a single song. I mean, it's and there was a couple songs on there that I actually remembered. I just like, I don't remember these guys, but they did have some play on MTV, and I do remember them. But no, it's good stuff.
Now, they do have some releases that came out before this one.
Right.
And that was in their, what they term cowpunk days.
Right.
The songs are very tongue-in-cheek, and I'll have to let you guys borrow my CD sometime.
Sure.
And listen to it. But that's not anything that would ever get music radio play here in America, ever.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was. I listened to it too. I listened to pieces of it today, and then I'd also listened to that part of that song that you had sent us, the "Wrong Side of Love" too. So they're a band I'll have to get turned on to because I kind of like them. I like their the DAD. It said in the article what that stood for.
Yeah,
Disneyland After Dark.
See,
right
now I found a copy of their No Fuel CD with the Disneyland After Dark logo on it. Because I bought it when I was in Denmark, So I have one with the
cha-ching.
It's a cha-chinger.
There you go.
Not that anybody would want it, but I thought it was cool. And it's actually a couple of the songs on there are mixed a little differently. So because it was mixed on some no-name label, and then Warner Brothers picked it up and they remixed a few of the songs.
Cool.
All right, we'll move to number 41, Winger's debut album, Winger, from 1988.
I tell you what, give Winger what they want. They give him a lot of shit on Beavis and Butthead, all that shit. But I tell you what, man, Kip played bass for Alice Cooper before Winger came out. I mean, that's where he got his start.
Yeah, the Nightmare Returns tour.
And then you got Red Bitch. You've got great players and thing. You got to give them some cred. As much as they get crap for Winger. It's a good album. I like it. I got it on CD.
You got anything, Bill?
No, I just one of the that's 17 was a song that just blew up. I mean, it just exploded and did great. And I'm reading the note. It says that Kip later explained 17 was legal in Colorado, which was his home state, and so he didn't really get the joke. He didn't understand that it was really too much of a problem. But that's a I like that album. I have that album. I had it on LP, and I also had it on cassette. And good stuff. I think Kip Winger's a good guy. And I listened to he had an album out just a couple years ago. He put something new out, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I listened to part of that too. And it sounded a lot like the old stuff, and it was good. So I like that one. I would go with that.
They got a lot of crap during the MTV days. I mean, they caught a lot of bullshit. But like I said, they're a bunch of great musicians. And
not a lot of bands have their bass player fronting them either.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Plus, he knew ballet. He did a little ballet.
Yeah, that's a little flip thing. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna go to the devil now, right?
Right, number 40, Stripers, To Hell with the Devil, from 1986.
I have that album. I know I gave him some crap in an earlier episode, but I got to tell you right now, unfortunately, I was one of those people in 1989 who had Honestly as a song of their wedding.
Well, yeah, that was a popular song.
Everybody who got married in 1989 probably had Honestly as a wedding song. So I had Striper as a wedding song during our ceremony.
Never would have guessed that.
Isn't that fucking terrible?
It's cool. But have you heard Michael Sweet recently?
Dude.
That guy sounds the same.
Well, he's been singing for Boston. Tom
He
Stoltz
sounds the same.
I tell you what, the guy his voice is awesome. Actually, Striper is a really good. They did some cover albums that are really good. They just put out another one here recently. They did like some Kansas and some old. It's just awesome. And they're back out again. They're putting the yellow and the black back on. They're doing all their old stuff. I like those guys. I got every one of their albums. So
yeah, they have the new album is really good called Fallen. It came out just a couple weeks ago. I have that too. I like it. It's really good. Good stuff.
He's a good singer.
I will try to hit him up. He started following me on Twitter a couple of months ago.
Right.
When I forwarded or I retweeted something that someone had mentioned him in to my friend Chuck because he's a diehard Striper fan. So maybe I'll hit him up and see if we can get him on the show sometime.
That'd be great. Like I said, just don't let him hear the earlier one I said something about. About Striper.
I've heard him on a couple of different podcasts. He's a really cool guy. I mean,
he's been on some shows and some of the TV shows that we watch.
Now we're up to number 39, Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Vinnie Vincent Invasion from 1986. My thoughts on this are it is another one of those albums that is a top for me. I love this album from beginning to end. I know a lot of it sounds like an angry bee, but I still like it. I think I like it a lot because I really liked what he contributed to Kiss. So this was pretty cool to me. I don't like the other Vinnie Vincent albums with Mark Slaughter. I love Mark Slaughter's Slaughter band, Mark Slaughter solo stuff. But personally for me, I didn't think he was a good fit with the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. And the fact that Vinnie Vincent Invasion is number 39 on the list and Kiss is number 43 on the list, I wonder if that just burns Paul Stanley's ass.
More Gene probably than Paul.
No, Paul's the one that seems to have the biggest problem with Vinny.
I don't give a crap.
Watch my video.
But real quick, Watchman didn't sing on that then from Slaughter. Mark Slaughter didn't sing on this original album.
That was Robert Fleischman, who was one of the many singers in Journey before Steve Perry.
But then was Dana Strum? Was he still playing in this? Was he in this version of it?
Yeah, they just replaced Fleischman after the recording was over.
But what I'm saying is, once you get to this part, then Vinnie Vincent's Invasion was actually an early Slaughter, because you got Dana Strum and then Mark Slaughter going from this band to Slaughter.
Correct.
So was there anybody else in the band that moved over?
No.
Because you know what's really interesting? On another podcast I listened to, they had the guys from New England on there, and they both dealt with Vinnie Vincent also.
The guy's name is Hirsch something?
Hirsch Gardner. He was the drummer from there.
Yeah. And
they were going to get this band together after, like I say, Vinny's just a loose cannon, period. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's dealt with Vinny. And so like I said, no, I do I own this album. I liked it. I thought it was a good album. Like you said, I get a little bit burned out. You can't listen to the whole thing. It's one of those ones you can listen to about 2 or 3 songs and then you got to go on. But good album, Phil.
Yeah, I like it. I like most of the stuff on it. It's kind of the same thing for me. I like bits and pieces of it, but I don't think it's one I put on from front to back. So,
right.
But it's good stuff. It probably deserves to be in there. I do think that Vinny had did make.
Yeah, I do too. I do actually.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yeah.
All right, we'll move up to number 38, Brittany Fox. Their debut album was also called Brittany Fox, and that came out in 1988. Love it.
This is one of my favorite albums. My buddy Rodney and I, we both had copies of this. I was working in New Mexico at the time as an engineer, and I had a cassette deck in my truck for the first time, and I had this tape, and I wore this tape down. I mean, wore it to where it was gone.
I road tripped across Germany with a guy in my unit, and he had one of the first little portable CD players that you could plug in with a cassette deck thing.
Right.
And I bet we listened to that album 10 times going back and forth across Germany.
It's a great album. There is every song. I don't think there's a bad song on that album. I mean, there's some that are kind of really stupid, but I mean, it's a good album. It is. I mean, it's a solid album.
Yeah, I saw them open for somebody. I can't remember who it was. It was a triple bill. Might have been Motley Crue. Might have been like Theater Pain. Was a triple bill, I think, or something.
I think Theater Pain here, but they weren't with them. I would have.
Okay, well, I saw Theater Pain there too. So if it wasn't them, it wasn't. But I saw them. I thought they were pretty good. The thing about that, I like that record, but it seemed like they just fell off the planet.
Well, they did. Well, they couldn't stay together. It
was like one and done. They just didn't. I think they did another album later, but it wasn't even close. It was.
Well, they had a different singer.
Well, they actually had a tour ready to go with the original people, and we're getting ready to go on the first night, get around the bus, and the singer and the guitar player got a fist fight, and it was over with. It was done.
That was it.
They just can't get together. But no, it was that Long Way to Love. I love that song. I mean, I've played that a couple times in bands, and it's a great song.
That's hard. That would be so hard to sing. Oh my gosh!
Oh, it is. It rips
your. It hurts just thinking about it.
It rips. That dude, I don't know. Like I say, he's one of those guys that could just early screamo because he could do it. I mean, that guy could just keep it going. So anyway, no, I agree. Love it.
All right.
We're up to number 37. That one is Bang Tango's Psycho Cafe from 1989. And I got nothing.
I listened to 4 songs off of it earlier.
I remember him from.
There's a lot of other stuff that should have been on there that this should not even be there.
I remember him from MTV, but Bang Tango doesn't do anything for me. No. Move on.
Not good.
Moving along. Number 36, Alice Cooper's Trash album from 1989. This was one that did not get overlooked by me in the late 80s, early 90s, mainly because I'm an Alice freak. He came to Germany on tour. That is the show that we talked about here a while back when I said I almost got trampled.
Right.
It was Brittany Fox, Great White, and Alice Cooper, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And we got there just in time. We got there just in time to see Brittany Fox walk off stage.
Right.
Because they tell you show time is at like 7:30. When, they make the first band start at 7.
Right.
I've learned my lesson now.
Bill.
That was a great bill. It was a great show that night. But Yeah, what I liked about this is Alice Cooper was trying really hard to get, the hits on the radio like Bon Jovi and things like that. So he tasked Desmond Child to help write with him.
Exactly.
He's got Desmond Child writing with him on that album. Bon Jovi wrote with him. Joan Jett wrote with him. And it is one of my top 5 Alice Cooper albums.
It's a good album. I'm not, like I said, I am a huge Alice Cooper fan. Don't get me wrong. I love Alice. I've seen him twice. I love his older stuff better. I never even really liked Poison that much, but it was good music coming from him though. It is good to hear him, getting a hit. Cause like I said, Alice Cooper any other day is not going to get a hit, cause he's going to put out an album. It's going to be missed by the mainstream, music industry. And to hear, Poison was a big hit for him.
Yeah.
Like
so those people love that song.
Yeah, and it's a good song. I'm just not, like I said, but when you're a big Alice Cooper fan, I'm like with the deeper cuts. So the hits don't really matter to me. But I love Alice. I mean, Alice is Alice. He's awesome.
Number 35 is Badlands with their 1989 release, Badlands. This is a band that, as much as I love Jakey Lee and his contributions to Ozzy and him being on my favorite Ozzy album, this Badlands did absolutely nothing for me.
I have that disc, actually. I haven't listened to it much. I also got Eric Singer's on that.
The drummer's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you got Ian Gillan. Ray Gillan. Sorry. No, it's a good. There's just not good song. The songs aren't good. They're good players. It's just they don't have anything. They don't have a focus or a direction. I don't know. That was my thing about it. But I have it.
To me, it was kind of like the.
I couldn't name one song off of it.
Yeah, I liked a couple songs off of it, but for the most part, it was just people they threw together to make a band. It didn't seem like there was a lot of.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's one of the best 50, but
no. I'm like you. I don't think that was there again. We'll one of these days do our own 50 top. Because like I said, I don't think this was valid.
Yep. All right, keep going.
Number 34, Junkyard self-titled album from 1989. My thoughts on this are never heard of it. Listen to the first track. I will be checking it out later because I liked what I heard.
Junkyard actually is a really good band. That's something that Rodney and we've listened to for quite a while. I don't know if I have this actual album, the original one, but I've had some other Junkyard, and they're really good. They're kind of a funky Guns N' Roses kind of slash kind of Leonard Skinner kind of Southern kind of, but they're really good. It's good. It's good fun listening. Yeah, that's what I got with it. So
yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
Nope.
At least he didn't say horrible.
Nope. Didn't listen.
No WTF.
Nope.
Number 33, Saigon Kick, The Lizard from 1992.
WTF.
Exactly.
Don't know.
All right.
We can go.
Did I say 33 or 32?
33.
Okay. Number 32, Great Whites, Twice Shy from 1989.
Give a thumbs up. I like that.
Yeah. My roommate, when I was in Germany, listened to this album. He listened to it so much I was sick of it for a long time. But he's the one that went with me to the Alice Cooper concert. He's the one that pulled me out of the crowd when I almost got trampled. So thanks, Vinny.
No, it's a great album. Actually, there's a lot of great songs. Like I say, Great White's a good band. They're really good. They've just had a lot of fucking
bad luck.
Bad luck. They've just been one of those bad luck bands that just can't. You got 2 versions of them now. It's just ridiculous. Jack. If you want to go see Great White, go see Jack Russell's version of it.
Yeah,
that's what you got to go see. That's
this is probably the only band from that era that I have continued to buy their stuff.
Yeah.
So I really, I don't think that I really bought anybody else's. I was a big Dokken fan, but I didn't buy Dysfunctional. I didn't buy because I listened to a couple cuts off of it. I was like, it wasn't the same thing.
Right.
Not the same thing, but the same type of music. The thing I liked about Great White was it was bluesy, and Jack Russell's voice made it bluesy, and Mark the guitar player. It just I like that music, and they're one of my favorite bands. I like them a lot.
Great White's one of those bands that, God love them. They've never changed with the times.
No.
They've continued to be Great White, unlike Kiss and these other bands who try to, emulate what's hot.
Hoppers.
They're Great White is Great White. They're a great rock and roll blues band.
Yeah.
And they are a great Led Zeppelin band too.
Exactly. No, and I give them credit for that. I mean, don't follow trends. Follow yourself. Follow your heart. Write the music that you write and what you do well. Don't try to follow everybody else's, bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of bands
do. Look up some of the last couple albums that they did. I mean, that they were together when they were Great White, not whenever it hit when they'd split off. But there's some really good stuff on there.
Oh yeah, there is.
I think there's an album called Rising. It's really good, and there's another one. I can't remember one of that. There's a song on there. I still like their stuff. So
right.
Good stuff.
No, I agree.
They deserve to be on there for sure.
Yep, exactly.
Number 31, Slaughter. Stick It To You, 1990.
Got that album, that CD. I burnt. We worn that thing out. I mean, I love that album. That is a great. I've seen them in concert twice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're a great opening. They've always been an opening band. But no, they're a great bunch of musicians. Mark Slaughter's got a voice that just won't stop. Energetic. The songs that they do, "Fly to the Angels" is a great song. I mean, I've heard so many versions of that. But no, it's just it's a great. You Up All Night starts out. You just want to go woo. That's a great album. It's just an awesome album.
I think that album probably was the last great album of the hair band era.
I would agree with you. Actually,
I would agree.
It's getting toward the end of that point, but they still got a good album out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we're up to number 30, and this.
Mark, hey, before we go on, hey, Mark Slaughter has a new album out. It came out earlier this year. I don't know if you guys have heard it or not, but it's good stuff too.
I heard some off of it.
Yeah, I heard some stuff off of it. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Number 30, WTF. I mean, Bullet Boys Freak Show from 1991.
Yeah, what the hell we want to hear about Bullet Boys from 91? Bullet Boys' original album was great. You don't need this shit. Yeah,
I got the Bullet Boys on the list. I didn't get this album of the Bullet Boys on the list. The first one, Smooth Up. I tell you, Smooth Up in You. When that song came out, when it first started, that's one of those songs that when you hear the very beginning of it, you know exactly what it is.
Well, and I tell you what, like I said, I went to Tell City here at the poorhouse last year, and they caught these guys off the road. They just caught them during midweek. It was on a Thursday night, and it was Faster Pussycat and Bullet Boys, and they played there in Tell City on a Thursday night. And I tell you what,
I was going to go to that show, but they didn't start until like 11:30 at night.
It was late.
Old
it was
and
late.
had to go to work.
You're too
old. And I had to go, but I went anyway. And they started earlier than that. But anyway, I thought Faster Pussycat was actually going to be the final band, but they were actually the opener. But I tell you,
really?
Bullet Boys came out, and that guy, he was phenomenal. I'm not shitting you. I'm not a big Bullet Boys fan, but I am now. That dude is a guitar playing, singing mofo. I mean, it was really, no, seriously, it was really, really good. And the thing was, Faster Pussycat, you only got basically Tammy Down. It's the only last ones that's last, there. And he's chain smoking Marlboro Reds. I mean, to the point where it almost makes me want to throw up, because I used to be a smoker. And to see somebody smoke that much makes me almost want to gag. But he did sound good. I got to give him cred. Had a young band behind him. But then Bullet Boys come out, and I tell you what, it was impressive. I was like going, he acted like he was at a stadium, put on a really good show, knowing that he was only playing for a couple hundred people. But it was a good night. I have more credit for that guy now after seeing it. So, Alan, you should have went. So next time they have a thing like that, we need to go. I'll drive. You can sleep on the way home.
No, I will make sure I have enough vacation time that I can take the next day off.
There you go.
All right, we're up to number 29 now. Self-titled "Dangerous Toys" from 1989. My buddy Eric, I was stationed in Germany with, guy I just went to Kansas to see a couple months ago, loves this album. When I used to do a radio show on the internet, first request I'd always get, Sportin' a Woody from the Dangerous Toys album.
I remember that song.
Sportin' a Woody, Teasin' Pleasin', and there's one more on that album I can't remember, but it was basically another song about that guy's junk.
Yeah, I'm not too big. It's one of those ones where there again, I don't know why this album was on the top 50 when there were so many other ones that didn't make it. You know, I don't get it.
I thought it was more of a. I thought the the thing you don't get anymore, right? And we've talked about this before. Is you don't get the album art, and their album art was cool.
No, it is cool. No, I have to give it. It's almost like
Clown was just cool stuff.
Clown, yeah.
It's almost like Iron Maiden. He's kind of that.
Yeah, but the music was just
shitty.
Yeah, well, yeah. The singer, I didn't care for the singer's voice much. I just didn't. It didn't do anything for me.
Well, let's move to number 28. Black and Blue self-titled album from 1984. I don't know about you guys, but y'all know I grew up small town Kentucky. Right. Never heard of this band.
I had heard. Well, MTV
I don't even remember them getting MTV play back then.
MTV, they had a song where they were on an airplane and they were like on the wings of this airplane and this bullshit. Little did we know that this guy would become Ace Frehley at some point.
He's the space man. He's not Ace Frehley.
He was a space man. There you go. But no, like I said, Black and Blue, I'm like you, Alan. They were completely off my radar. Don't really know much about them. They were MTV. I know they were on MTV. I remember one song, and I don't even remember. Shit, I'm trying to see if they didn't even mention it on the thing here. Hold On to 18. I remember that song.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of this stuff today. I listened to probably 4 or 5 songs on there. Actually, I bought this album for Noah. He hooked my Earl turntable up, and we were at a record store in Cincinnati, and it was in this bin for $4, and it's got Tommy Thayer on it. So I was like, I'm buying it because he'll think it's cool. He was like jacked when I got home. So
that's cool.
But I listened to some of it today. I thought it was pretty good. Actually, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, what was that one song that they had though? That when they were on the airplane, and that was that
I don't know.
Miss Mystery. Was that a song of theirs?
Couldn't tell you.
Huh?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, I did pull this album up on YouTube, and I did. I listened to the first song of a lot of these albums, and the first song on this album I did like, so I will go back and give the whole album a listen.
Yeah,
I'll give it a chance. Like I said, there were some of these ones, like I said, like you, I tried to do as much as I could, but I didn't have time to listen to, because there were some oddballs on the first 50 or the first 25. Then I don't have time to listen to all these, but I own a bunch of these, including the next one.
Yep. So the next one is L.A. Guns Cocked and Loaded from 1989. Yep. That is. In my opinion, should be way closer to number 1 in the list than it is. I love this album. I come home on leave when I was in Germany, saw it at the local Walmart, bought the cassette, and wore the tape out on the way back to Germany when my leave was over.
Yeah, it's a good. Like I said, I had this CD. Like I said, Sizzy Comes, Easy Go, and of course, you had Never Enough. Never Enough is my favorite song by them anyway. And
that song is nothing less than badass.
Yeah, it is. Actually, if I could get my band to play it, I would love to play that song. It's a good song, period.
I like that. I like that album too. The thing that's funny is that LA Guns is one of those bands that you can hear you could hear a song with no vocals and know it's an LA Gun song.
Exactly.
Their guitars and their drums.
And there's two, but now there's two versions of that band.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, they're back to one version because Tracy broke his up.
Oh, did he break his up? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's a band that when you hear their music, it's kind of like, oh, that's LA Guns.
Right. It's good.
They sound very similar, but it's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
We are at number 26, which is our last pick for this week. We will pick the rest of this episode up next week.
Awesome.
So, number 26 is Poison's Open Up and Say Ah from 1988. Everybody's favorite ballad comes from this album. Am I right? No?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? Up until a couple of years ago, yes. And not anymore. And I'll tell you the story about this.
What's your favorite ballad now?
No. I'm just saying, Every Rose is a song that I could hear, all the time.
You almost made me spit my water.
That was the plan.
I don't think Dennis heard you.
No.
Second. Go ahead for a second. I gotta check something real quick. Go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, so when this album came out, I worked in a record store here locally.
Which one?
And in Columbus, More Records and Tapes.
Oh.
And it doesn't exist anymore. But that album came out and they banned it. Do you remember that? They banned
the tongue.
Because of the tongue. So I worked in the store and the album came in. I bought the album that day and we had to ship the rest of them back. I'm the only one that got that album.
Crazy.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yep.
You got it on eBay? You got it on eBay?
One of them, and I put the rest of them back in the box and taped it back up. So I have it. I have it wrapped in plastic because it's one of those kind of things that it's one of those second editions. So I have a couple of those, which is kind of cool. But this was a great album for them. It had like 4 or 5 songs that got released off of it.
Yeah, I mean, you either got to love or hate those guys, but you know what? They put out some hits and people listen to shit out of them, and it is what it is.
Well, these albums from Poison, to me, that's the epitome of what a hair band was supposed to be.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, number one, actually, it should have been the number one because the whole point, like you said, if you're going to judge these bands by their, hair metal standards, these were the hair metal gods. I
think we showed that Rockin' Like a Rocker video that we got posted on the website. It's just
oh my gosh.
So
I finally looked at that today.
Oh, did you finally look at that?
I finally looked at that today. I could not make it through that video.
Like the little sausage you had packed in there?
That's a Vienna sausage, dude.
No, but anyway, what got me was my cousin, who was a year older than me, passed away about 4 years ago. 4 or 5. Actually, it's been about 5 years ago. And during his funeral, his girlfriend at the time that was one of the songs they played, Every Rose, that they played it during the funeral.
Oh man!
So it just kind of really it's not a really. The whole time it was playing, I'm like going, this is really not just that fitting for a funeral, number one.
Well, it's a breakup song.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm sitting, but it was one of their favorite songs. But then now I got to play this song now whenever that's one of the songs we play in our band. And every time, it's just one of those things that kids remember, it brings up memories. Yeah. It's like, of all, you really. So that's one of the things I don't like about that song. It's just because it's just personal bad memories to it. But anyway,
fair enough.
But anyway, but no, like I said, but like you said, those guys. They were the epitome of the hair metal bands.
They were.
You want a dictionary hair metal? Boom! You put a
Poison's logo right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, next week we're going to do the top 25.
That is correct.
Yep. Hey, you know what the 25th one is?
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
No.
Don't say it. No.
All right.
Nope, we're going to bleep you.
Bleep. 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 Yeah, if you say it, I'm just going to cut it off the episode, so there. I have the power. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode for tonight. Please go to the iTunes store and leave us a review or hit us up on YouTube and leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you'd like to see in the show.
And go out and support live music.
Support your live music from your local acts and from your national acts who play in little bitty tiny bars in Tell City, Indiana.
Exactly.
And if you're watching the show, let us know what happened on this episode.
Yeah, there's something weird.
Yeah.
Something interesting happened. We'll see if you're paying attention.
Are you paying attention? Yeah.
That's right.
And on that note, until next week, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.